Just to start the class going, as I mentioned to last week, and I think to all to you who attended last week, and to those of you who have seen the video, our class is not all of them, but some parts of our class is based on class discussion and class activity. Yeah? So class activity will include using Padlets. Later, you're going to use Mentimeter, the thing that you do on your own. Okay, and those class activities are compulsory. So you have to do those class activities when you are when you asked to do, and I give marks to all those class activities. As you mentioned, the maximum the total marks for class activities is 10 marks. So you may say, it's 10 marks is very small, but sometimes people could not get the 10 marks, they get 60, for example, in the total marks. If they had been active in their class activities, they could get the 10 marks and get a pass. So be serious in class activities. Yeah? So included in class activities will be discussions. If we have like this, for example, we may discuss on certain topics and so on. I keep track of people who are active in asking questions and contributing and so on. So those people will be given the extra marks as well. So all those will contribute to the 10 marks. Okay, so if you remain quiet along the all around the class, or if you do not participate in the Padlets and Mentimeter later will be put and so on, then most probably you're not going to get the 10 marks. So the 10 mark is very much like a bonus to our activity. Ahmad Mustafa, oh, can you switch off you mute your microphone?
Sorry.
Okay, okay. All right. So that's my reminder. So when we have activity, please participate and contribute to the discussions. So now I want to open a first discussion. Discussion will be very short. I just want to ask you all, after going through the last class, reading through the Padlets, okay, and then having and we had a long discussions in the class. What is finally our definition of research? Okay, I just want one sentence that encapsulate most of the things that we discussed inside our discussion last week. Okay, so just one sentence. Research is what? What, for example, you can mention what are the main components of when you say a definition of research. It should include what, or should not include what? It should be what should it include rather? What is included inside the research definition of research? Anybody want to say anything? Yes, Sola.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum, bro, and everyone. I think research is a procedure about a problem and how to solve this problem by discover a new idea from any resource.
Okay, what can okay, like this. I think what I want to do will be I'll write down that the so-called definition, and how do I change my this moment here? I'm having problem with my computer here. It's being too clever. Why is it not behaving very well? Okay, it's okay. So can you write can you say again what you wrote what you said just now, Ola?
Yes, Prof.
Research
is a procedure.
Is a procedure.
Yes, it's a procedure about solve some problem, some problem by discover a new idea from another source.
By discovering new ideas.
Yeah, to suppose.
Discovering new ideas.
Yeah, discover a new idea to solve this problem. Yes.
to solve the problem. It's quite long. It's okay. To solve the problem. Is that okay? Right. What I want to do will be okay. I want to make it bigger. I will share this screen with you shortly, but just make sure that I got it right. Okay. Right. Now I share the screen. Share screen. Find my screen. Okay. Meanwhile, you can think about what you want to say, to comment on what Ola has mentioned just now. Ola, can you lower your hands?
Yes, Prof.
Yes. Now, anybody has any comments or modification to this definition by Ola? Research is a procedure about solving. Can you see this definition? I wrote it down here. Research is research is a procedure about solving some problem by discovering new ideas to solve the problem. You can do two things. Number one, you can edit this, and number two, you may propose something completely new. Okay, until we get something that we can agree together that this is what our class think about research. Okay. Anybody wants to try? Go ahead. This moment. Okay, Mukdad first.
Please, sir, the research. I think the research of methodology. This is a brief study for.
Sorry. Are you going to come up with something new, or are you going to edit Ola's work, Ola's suggestion?
Write or speak?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Mukdad?
Yes, I hear you, sir.
Okay, I ask you, are you going to come up with a new definition, a new sentence, or are you going to edit Ola's sentence? Can you hear? Can you understand?
Please again, sir.
Are you coming up with a new sentence, new definition, or are you going to edit this definition?
Yes, this is for opinion for Ola. This is right for a procedure about solving, but find one point. If a brief of the research must be study for the defects of any subject, and what is the reason for the defect, and what is the solution for any solution for this defect. I think this is the research right for.
So you agree with Ola's definition?
Yes, agree with Ola. This is right, but must be a brief for this research for the reason for defect, and the suggestion on solution for the yes, that is
I don't want an explanation. I want any word that you want to add, or any word you want to edit, or you want to put the whole sentence, new sentence. Do you have anything? If you don't have,
yes,
then I think I'll just go on to the next.
yes, that is okay. No additive. This is okay.
All right. Okay. Now you can put down your hand. Zika.
Okay, Assalamualaikum, Prof. So for my end, I will change the discovering new ideas to a new knowledge, meaning that we find a new knowledge.
This one you say not new ideas, but new knowledge.
Yeah, I think it's better that we change it to a new knowledge.
Okay, new knowledge. Yeah, right. Knowledge. Right. So research is a procedure about solving some problem, becoming new knowledge to solve the problem.
sometimes it might be not the problem because not all research we do for like for us after we identify a problem. Sometimes research is also done just for us to know, I mean like for us to get the information.
So in this case then, do you want to delete this last part?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I put it there, but let other people think about it.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Zika. So now, after Zika has already edited it, research is a procedure about solving some problems by discovering new knowledge. Okay, is that okay? Zika, you can put it down your hand. Nurul.
Hi, Prof. I think I want to change a little bit on the procedure. I think it should be research is a process of a scientific investigation.
Okay, so just one process.
A process of a scientific investigation.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Nurul. Amin.
Hi everyone. Yes, Prof. I think this statement is quite good and it can be improvised. For instance, I think at the process of scientific investigation, we should add scientific methods also. Because
so how?
Process of scientific investigation and
Okay.
methods.
Is it possible to put like a process of investigation? Boleh? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Involving scientific method. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, scientific method.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
And then at the second part, by discovering new ideas, new knowledge, I think we should remain to solve the problem because research should be conducted to discover new knowledge and also to solve the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we have two solving here. Here solving some problem, here to solve that problem. I think we should we keep all the both or okay for you you suggest that's like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I follow you. Okay. I mean,
Okay,
next is
so
Amirul Ibrahim.
Yes, so research is a process of investigation involving scientific method about solving some problems by discovering new knowledge and facts. Because research, we need facts, concrete facts to support our hypothesis or what we are trying to figure out.
Okay. I leave it to the group. The group may disagree or agree with you. Okay, you add and facts there. Okay. Okay, thank you, Amirul. Now Faizin. Those who have spoken, please switch off your microphone here. Your mic. Okay. No Faizin. We see how.
I think,
okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that the problem also. Sorry. I think that the problem also comes from the gap of knowledge. So probably at involving scientific method about solving some problems that arises from a gap of knowledge, from the knowledge gap.
Okay. Okay. I just put here that arises from gap in knowledge.
From the gap in knowledge, yes.
By discovering new knowledge and facts to solve the problem. Okay. All right. Okay. Good contribution. Nafaidin. Next, Yahya Abdullah.
Yeah. Yes, Prof. That is.
Feel free to comment on your friend's edition or if you don't like that, you can suggest that it's deleted. Okay.
Yes, I think what she said about solving some problem that arises from gap in knowledge by discovering new ideas. I think the end should be, that is, with a view to finding a new knowledge or bringing about a lasting solution to a problem or mitigate the problem. Because some problems you just have to mitigate them. You are not bringing about a lasting solution.
I don't understand. It depends. I don't want explanation. What we want would be how to edit this.
With a view to finding a new knowledge.
Where? Which part you want to edit, to add?
What I'm editing is, that is, discovering new ideas.
Okay.
Or
from discovering new knowledge.
With a view. Discover new knowledge with a view to finding
a view.
Yes, with a view to finding a lasting solution to the problem or mitigate the problem.
Oh, sorry. I think I edited the wrong place.
With a view to finding a lasting solution to the problem.
With a view to find
a lasting solution.
A lasting solution to the problem.
Or mitigate it. Or mitigate it.
Or mitigate it.
Yes.
Okay. Right, it's getting longer now. I hope it's not going to be too long. Okay, Yaya. We are next, Noraldin. Okay, feel free to cut short your friends' definition and so on. You feel these things it's not supposed to be there, or why? But you must explain why it should not be there. Yes.
Yes, bro. In the third line.
Yeah. Can you lower your hands? Okay, Nuruddin, yes.
Sorry.
The third line, which one? Which one?
Yes, about solving some problems.
About solving some problems.
Yes, as we discussed in the previous class, research can be conducted for generating new ideas, like what NASA does right now, is doing right now in Mars. So it discovers new things. It shouldn't be only problems. Shouldn't be only solving problems.
That is interesting.
In this case, we can replace this word with a method about generating new ideas, maybe generating new ideas.
Okay, so you're saying here it's about generating new ideas that arises from gap in knowledge. Is that what you mean? Okay, I just follow you. Okay.
Maybe if we link it the second sentence, that it gives the same meaning as the previous one. So maybe about generating new ideas, also conducting research, analyzing the findings, and using to generate more ideas.
About generating about generating new ideas that arises from gap in knowledge. Okay. By discovering new ideas.
But when you say that arises from gap in knowledge, that means you are doing the research based on previous research or previous problem.
So
maybe about generating new ideas by discovering a new knowledge and facts.
Oh, okay. So there's nothing. This one you also you saying it should be deleted. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what your suggestion. I just put that. Oh, sorry. I should not do that. I should put this one. Okay. About generating new ideas.
Yeah.
By discovering.
By discovering.
Oh, yeah. This by is there. Sorry.
Sorry for the person who wrote this comment.
Okay.
Thank you, bro.
About generating new ideas by discovering new knowledge and facts with a view to find a lasting solution to the problem or mitigate it to solve the problem. Okay, still very long. Okay, who else has raised your hands? Okay, Noruddin Dan. Nur Nadia.
Yes, Prof.
Yep.
I think reliable sources must be put somewhere.
Well, I don't want to say Like that, you say, you must say where.
Yes, I think we must put in by discovering new knowledge and facts from reliable sources.
From reliable facts, from reliable sources.
Yes.
Wow, okay, now it get longer. I thought somebody want to cut short, to shorten this.
Yes, I don't know how to cut it.
Okay, no problem. No
Okay,
problem.
thank
This
you.
is, okay, good. So we are learning here. No, Nadia, okay. Yeah, you are coming back. Yes. Yeah, you have some views? No, okay. No,
Yes,
Nadia,
I'm looking.
okay, Chihui. Chihui, you have some, yeah.
Yes, hello, Prof. I actually wanted to add one more point to the last part of the definition.
Wow.
So it's
Okay.
like to solve the problem or to suggest a recommendation for future work.
But this is a solved problem already.
Yeah, I mean to add another.
Oh, and
Yeah,
suggest
a recommendation for future work.
For future work.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll give you to make it bigger, and I cannot do this. Okay, research is a process of investigation involving scientific method about generating new ideas by discovering new knowledge and facts. I think we are repeating ourselves there. Okay, from reliable sources with a view to find a lasting solution to the problem or mitigate it. To solve the problem, I think we also repeating here, and suggest recommendation for future work. Can I suggest that we delete this one? Okay, because otherwise it's repeating, and something where by discovering new ideas. Okay, about generating new ideas by discovering new ideas. I think it's not correct. You have to accept either one only. About generating new ideas from reliable sources, or about discovering new knowledge and facts. Which one would you accept? This one is open first. Anybody want to say anything about this? I just ask this question. Okay, no need to raise your hand. You just say which one do you think is better, about generating new ideas, or about we delete this one and we say by discovering knowledge and facts, new knowledge and facts. Which one is better?
I think delete the part you highlighted.
I think
So this one, this one delete,
Yes.
Yeah,
agree. Okay. So now I think I want to delete those things that you do not have, you don't like them. Okay, you don't like this, and you don't like this. Okay, and you don't like this because it is repeating. Right. Research is a process of investigation involving scientific method by discovering new knowledge and facts from reliable sources with the view to find a lasting solution to the problem or mitigate it and suggest recommendation for future work. Is that okay, Amin? Amin Ali?
I think the definition should end at the word problem. So the mitigate and suggest recommendation part, I don't think we need.
Which sorry,
the last two lines. I don't think we need the last two lines.
I think that one is for explanation.
This one? There's no need for this one?
That's my opinion.
Okay, that's Amin's view. What about the rest?
Change the problem to a problem.
To a problem. Because it's not mentioned about problem before, yeah? So this one should.
Yeah.
Okay. So a problem. All right. Are we agreed on that?
The word lasting.
Sorry, Ola?
Monica.
Oh, okay.
I want to remove the word lasting.
Monica, yes, Monica, okay.
I want to remove the word lasting.
So you don't like this one?
No, because there's no end for a research.
Okay,
There's
okay,
no
okay.
lasting solution.
Okay, correct. Okay, so there's no lasting as well. So now, if we were to remove this, if we were to remove this, so not necessarily lasting, yeah. Maybe it's a temporary solution. Finally, you improve and improve and improve. There's no lasting solution. Okay, research is a process of investigation involving scientific method by discovering new knowledge and facts from reliable sources with the view to find a solution to a problem. Okay, Wei Lun, you have you want to improve further?
Yeah, I think I think we can add the words of for improvement.
For improvement, where? Which where?
After the scientific methods.
Scientific method for improvement.
Yeah, and then we instead of remaining the solution to a problems.
Okay, what do you mean? You put here for,
and then delete for solution to a problems.
Okay, this is a big suggestion. You are putting that there, and you said you want to remove what to find the solution.
And delete the solution to a problem. Yeah, this sentence.
This one you want to delete. Oh, so it becomes research is a process of investigation involving scientific method for improvement by discovering new knowledge and facts from reliable sources. I don't know, the class will agree or not with this suggestion.
I agree because Wailun's suggestion is more concise than the previous one.
Sorry, more concise. Yeah, so we don't have. But what about others? Okay, Wailun, can you put your hand down? Mustafa, you have a view on that?
Yes.
What about this suggestion? This yellow suggestion? To remove this one, to add this one, and to remove this one.
And okay, but you have to cut investigation involved. We can say that the researcher is the process of scientific method for improvement.
A process of
scientific scientific method.
A process of, okay, you're coming up with completely new here. Scientific method.
Yeah.
And then?
Delete the involving.
And for this one as well, remove.
Yeah.
If
by discovering new.
Is that it?
Just delete investigation involving from the previous
No, because here our friend just now suggests that you remove for improvement, you put for improvement and remove this one. See, so
yeah, with the view to find already.
Okay, this is your suggestion. Research is a process of scientific method for improvement by discovering new knowledge and facts from reliable sources with a view to find a solution to the problem.
Yes.
Do we agree with this? Do we agree with that? Or that? Okay, I think what we do is I copy the original one. This is the original. Now we don't have enough space now. Take a look at that. Okay, and make the font a bit smaller. To 18, 16. I hope you can still see. This is the original. Right. This is for improvement. Remove this one. Okay, that's editing. Okay. Research and process involving scientific method for improvement by discovering. Okay, this is a process of investigation
So
forgot already.
I think the original one didn't have the words for improvement.
Okay, this is the new one. All right. That's the original one. So this is the suggestion just now for improvement, and remove the one at the end there to find solution. Okay. So I call this A. This is B, and this is C. Okay. Which one would be your choice? If I were to, you can raise your hands, yeah, all of you. I'll take a very quick vote. Just one minute. Wait. I need to ask. I need to ask first. I need to make sure that this thing become big enough so that I can see your votes. Right. How do I see the votes then? Okay. Now we can see the votes here. Okay. Who? So now you cannot see. Okay. A, B, and C. Yeah. Who wants to keep A? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. One. How many want to keep A? A. Keep the A. Who else? Okay, I want to count another 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we count how many? Can you see? 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14, eh? 14, okay. Can you lower your hands? Lower your hands, all of you. Good. Yeah, please lower your hand and move that. You're not going to vote again. We vote only once, yeah? Mukdat, lower your hand. All right, good. So we go to B. Who thinks that it should be like B here? Remove the N here, put for improvement. Those who think that B is the best way, can you please raise your hands? You should vote only once, yeah? Tadi berapa tadi? I forgot already. 15, yeah? 15 was just now. Okay, now
Just
1,
now
2,
it was 14.
14, okay, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, 8 for B. And finally for the C. C does what? For improvement still there, bring the scientific method there, and still keep the N here. Okay, that's the third choice. Who vote for C? Raise your hands. C. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So will be 3, and I forgot how many just now? 6. I should have written on there. This one was 14. And this one was 6.
8,
and this,
Prof.
sorry, 8. Yeah. 8,
Yes, correct.
Okay, and this is 3. Is that right? So some of you have not voted. Okay, some not voting. Some are not taking any sides. So okay, so that means this class prefer this one. Okay, a research is, oh sorry, this is not a research, it's A. Research is a process of investigation involving scientific method by discovering new knowledge and facts from the universal sources with you to find solution to a problem. I think I want to stop the discussion now because I think we have covered most of the thing that's supposed to be there. But it's okay. As I said, this is your own definition. I'll just show you some of the other people's definition. Eh? They're slightly different, but the components are quite similar. If I can find the definition. Okay. This was the other class. It's very short. This is the slot A. Research a process to find new knowledge by using scientific method and techniques. Okay. The previous class, this is November. Research is scientific and systematic investigation process to generate new knowledge and fill a research gap. And research is a scientific and systematic investigation process to solve a research problem. So very similar in terms of the general thing. The details, of course, you are a bit different, but the main things you are talking about scientific, systematic, new knowledge, research gap, research problems, all that. Okay, and this is another class. Research is investigation process, which could be scientific and systematic, which starts with research problem, gap in knowledge, flaws in previous research unknown, and ends with a solution. So this one they could not agree on, or they say it's the same. Sometimes flaws in previous research, sometimes it is the unknown, sometimes it's gap in knowledge, sometimes research problem. So that's basically the so yours will go on the next slide, your class definition. And as I said, there is no standard definition. You go through the books and literature, you will find various people defining research. But the main thing is the main components are almost similar, very similar. You see the component of investigation, it is a process, it has something to do with scientific method, it is about discovering new knowledge, yeah, and to find solution to a problem. Okay, so that slides, we are going to do that in the next class. Those sets of slides, the one that I showed you, this is not for today. This is 01B, so later this module will be after, in 2 weeks time. We're going to the title is Characteristics of Good Research, where I put down the definition from the other classes, okay, and your class, and then we go through the whatever the detail about the research, yeah. Okay, so one of the thing that we want to do today now is when we talk about research, okay, there are two things. There is an important point that you mentioned and also mentioned by all the groups about being scientific. Yeah, all the groups mentioned about being scientific. So what is scientific method? So I want to see what you wrote in the Padlet. So what is scientific method? Wow, okay. So there's so many here. So I suggest that I'm not going to read them one by one because there are many. Some of you have not written, I suppose, because this is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I will allow 5 minutes for you to improve your writing here. You want to add some more. Those who have not written, this is the time for you to write. Now it's about 3 o'clock. Okay, so in 3:05, we'll come back to here. But for those who have written, can you read other people's definition on your own? Yeah, you go through, because you can also go through. And you can read other people's definition. What did they write about this scientific method and so on, and then we'll come back to discuss about it after this. So now it's your own activity on your own while I check about my blackout thing. So with my lights here. So spend your time on your own to read this and to improve whatever that you wrote. Those who have not written your name, please write your names. I suppose everybody write. Okay, everybody has written your name. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, good.
Yes, can you hear?
Yes, yes, we can.
I'm a bit worried. The rain is still very heavily outside, so okay. Now, I hope you have all done the exercise and written your input. Yeah. So I'll share again the entire screen. Share. Okay. Can you see now my screen?
Yes.
Yes, can see.
Yes, Prof.
So we see here, some of you have written, some have not. Somebody wrote here, there is no name, scientific method, method, and so on. There's nothing, no names here. I'm not sure who. There's Udin here, but nothing written. I don't know whether Udin is the one who's writing this scientific method. Please put your name as a first on top here, like other people. Then at least I know who's writing what. Okay, I'll just pick up very quickly because you have read this. You have read. You're supposed to have read what your friends put here. You can see that I'm not going to read everything, but I'll just pick up from Adam Ali, for example. Adam says scientific method, systematic approach to problem solving. So there is steps involved, and then if a research follows scientific method, it means that the step of the scientific method will follow to conduct the research. So you see that this will appear in the others as well. Process to gather knowledge about research done using scientific method means that researcher following scientific steps. Okay, but not really defining what scientific method is. Here is defining. Here, a series of steps to collect information, solve a problem. Okay, it's very similar to this. Research is scientific method. In scientific method is collecting evidence and explaining whether result can support and contradict theory. Scientific method is a way to discover knowledge that involves forming, testing a hypothesis. Method consists systematic way to answer hypothesis by removing any subjective. Yeah. Scientific method is a systematic procedure to satisfy a hypothesis problem statement. Method is mathematical and experimental techniques employed in research. Most frequently, it is a technique used in construction and testing of scientific hypotheses. Okay, Monica says there are systematic, logical, consequential orders with the cause in effect principally firmly in place. Method is just a way to conducting research. Research is careful, detailed, systematic. Scientific method is cyclical process of generating ideas, conducting research, analyzing findings, using them to generate more ideas. Research scientific method is systematic process and procedure of conducting observation, etc. Okay. Muhammad Hari says scientific method is collecting data by suitable method from fields of study and doing hypothesis. Noraldin says scientific method is cyclical. Okay, see already. Irshad, scientific method is mathematical experimental technique employed in research. Most frequently, it is a technique used in construction testing of scientific hypothesis. Scientific method proceeds to certify hypothesis problem statement. The method where its processes are planned and conducted under systematic procedures. Scientific method is a detailed, progress, or complicated procedures that involve multiple stages, starting making observation and so on. Okay, it can be iterative and repetitive. Scientific method is process to collect data information to solve problem by using mathematical experimental technique. Method is a systematic method of acquiring knowledge which involves observation, making hypothesis, testing hypothesis. To collect measurable empirical evidence, okay, and then To verify our aim, the hypothesis we made by something by using logical way. The method include observation of problem, hypothesis making, experimentation, and conclusion. Scientific method is a systematic way to answer a question. So it's a procedure consists of sequence steps. You have a series of steps to gather information to solve problem. The process of scientific method involves mathematical making hypothesis, making hypothesis, deriving prediction from them as logical consequences. And then the science method is scientific method, systematic procedure. So generally, I am not able to read all of them. Please, somebody write your name here, whoever this one. We can see that we are talking about, it is actually a procedure. It consists of a series of steps. It is a process also, yeah. And then it involves observation, it involves something about hypothesis, it involves collection of data, okay, and experimentation, and making conclusion. It is iterative. It is. It could be after you finish one set, you go back again and retest it and so on. So I just want you to get a general idea about what scientific method is. Yes. So that is something very, very important, because we say research is scientific. That means that we have to make sure that we follow we make sure that our research is also scientific. So here's some of textbook or something that people define. Scientific method is body of techniques for investigating phenomena, acquiring new knowledge, or correcting and integrating previous knowledge. And then to be termed scientific, a method of inquiry is commonly based on empirical and measurable evidence, subject to specific principle of reasoning. Okay, and Oxford Dictionary defines scientific method as a method of procedure characterized natural science since 17th century, consisting of systematic observation, measurement, experiment, formulation, testing, modification of hypotheses, etc., etc. So we see that when we say it is scientific, then it involves a few things. Okay, one thing is it involves it is something which is systematic. Okay, it involves observation and it involves measurement. It involves evidence. You must have evidence. Okay, so that's important. So it is systematic observation, measurement, and experiment and formulation, testing, and modification of hypothesis. So it's not something that you just think or something there. Okay. So scientific method here, both empirical, concerned with observable facts, and rational, concerned with general relationship. So rational, that means you can explain logically based on whatever present theory and so on, we can explain things. So it is rational. It is empirical because it is based on something that we can measure, something that we can observe. Yeah. Okay. One important aspect of scientific research is the verification of evidence. We need to verify the evidence, argument, facts that we use to support our arguments. So this point is very important from the beginning. I want to stress everything you write in your thesis, in your papers, later you're going to write papers, articles, and so on, in your presentation are subject to scrutiny, to questions, to the need for provision of evidence or supporting fact. So for example, you make a presentation, later this end of this semester, you're going to make a presentation. Okay, so in your presentation, you say you want to do research like this, and so on. Every word that you put in your presentation can be questioned. Okay, so remember that when you put something on your PowerPoint slides, or anything you put in your thesis can be questioned. So sometimes the question is because it seems to be not scientific. Okay, later we talk about not scientific. Yeah? But the thing is, you must provide evidence or supporting fact. For example, during your in your research, your methodology, you can choose 3 methods. You can choose Henry's method, you can choose Wang method, you can choose Ali's method. Okay, 3 methods. Okay, Henry, Wang, or Ali. And then you choose to use Ali's method. you must give evidence why you choose Ali's method. Okay, the scientific way, you must have evidence, which in the bottom here I put either, okay, I use my either, okay, so either of this. Your evidence could either be scholarly accepted literature. Scholarly accepted literature, we are going to deal with it many times in the future, in future classes, yeah? What we mean by scholarly accepted literature, or our own research, experimentation, survey, and so on. So in scientific research, when we do research scientifically, we cannot conclude, we cannot say anything without evidence. If we do not have evidence, we cannot choose. For example, just now I said, why you choose Ali's method? Why don't you use Henry's method or Wang's method? Or because Ali is my supervisor. Okay, just because Ali is your supervisor, you use Ali's method. No, that's not scientific. Okay, scientific means you have to weigh all the three methods and discuss them and finally decide which one is the best. So whatever choice that you use, you choose this method or that method, you must have evidence. You have argument for it. Okay, supporting fact. So that supporting fact could be from scholarly acceptable literature. For example, according to one research paper that I've read, okay, one article, journal article, the journal article have already discussed about these three methods, and they have done some validation, and they say that Ali's method is the best. Okay, the most optimum for this kind of application. So that's why I use Ali's method. All right, so your choice of thing is not based on personal, not based on relationships and so on, but based on evidence. Okay, and you are not biased from anybody. So that's scientific. So evidence. It is very important. Okay, so I just want to open for discussion. Okay, I now open for discussion. I'm going to stop presenting for a while. Stop presenting. Anyone want to say anything about a scientific method? You can raise your hands and say anything that you want to say anything about, or you want to ask question about scientific method. You can say if you have any questions. If not, I'm going to ask you a question about scientific method. Okay, now nobody is asking anything. Now I ask a question, so I expect you to respond. If there are scientific methods, then there must be some unscientific methods. Can you give an example of unscientific method or unscientific research? People claim to be doing research, but they do not do research actually. So they do not do proper research using scientific method. Is there any example that you can think of, or anything that you feel that?
Excuse me, Prof.
Yes, Ahmad Mustafa.
I think, in my opinion, all of research, it's scientific method research.
All research?
No, all. Because
okay.
you use survey or use experimental. That's already scientific method.
Okay.
So I don't know what's the researches without how to do research without do scientific methods.
Okay, good. Thank you, Mustafa. All right, so that's a contentious point. So he's saying that every research is already scientific, so there's no such thing as unscientific research, or people are doing things even in our daily life. We're supposed to be scientific, but maybe even our daily life we don't use the scientific. But what are unscientific method, for example? Anybody want to say example? Example of unscientific way of doing things. Yes, Victor.
I think unscientific probably includes personal opinions or notes that say that does not have any evidence to back up your findings. So when we say unscientific, it's something that it may not be credible and it does not support your ideas thoroughly.
Okay, right. So number one, what Victor says is that personal opinions, if you do research based only on personal opinions, it's not considered as scientific. Or even your own personal opinion or your supervisor's personal opinion are not considered as scientific. We are talking about individual, yeah? So, for example, if you were to do your research, like just now, you feel that you just feel that you want to do this way, okay? Then it is not scientific. But you must have some argument for it, some evidence for it. So that's one. Number one is based on not credible data or not credible evidence. Okay, later we'll talk about credible evidence. So included in the not credible evidence will be, because I say evidence can come from two ways. What are the two ways I mentioned just now? One is the scientific paper, okay, which is a scholarly accepted scientific paper. Okay, this is evidence. And the other one, of course, later we will define what we mean by scholarly accepted paper. Yeah? The other one is based on our own measurement. We measure. For example, people say, why you use why you say that coconut oil is a good additive to be added to diesel fuel to get better engine performance. If you just say, well, I think so, then that's not scientific. But you say that Mr. X have already done the experiment, they published it in the very credible paper journal, and in that journal paper they said that they have measured and they found improvement of 10%. Okay, so you have an evidence for it. Or you just say that that I've done my experiment. I must have done it. I put coconut oil in the diesel engine. I've done it proper research, and I found that it is a 10% improvement. So you see, what you say, if you say just your own personal opinion, I think so, I think coconut oil is good, then it is not scientific. But you say that according to X, in his research, coconut is good, then it becomes scientific. What you say, even the first thing, what you're saying. So it must be credible, the evidence must be credible. It cannot just any incredible thing. Okay, what else? Any example? Chi Hui.
Yes, I have two examples of non-scientific evidence, which is first is mythical.
Mythical.
Yeah, for example, like tales and story.
Okay. Cerita dongeng. Okay.
Yeah, and the second one is conspiracy.
Okay, alright.
So for example, like flat Earth and UFO thingy.
And COVID-19. Okay. So, okay, that's a non-scientific. Would be example with the mythical. This is all this myths and legends. Dongeng in Malay. That's an example. And then of course conspiracy theories, all this thing about anti-vaccine and so on. Why we say these are not scientific? The conspiracy or for example the anti-vaxxers, yeah? Why do we say these are not scientific? They use evidence, but the evidence is not credible, or they use half of the evidence. That's what they do, yeah? For example, even flat earth, you imagine the like flat earth. I can't imagine how could somebody who has gone through the education through up to university level can still believe in flat earth theory and have seen all the evidence around us about all the everything that's happening around us and so on, still can believe in flat earth theory, because that's completely wrong. But of course, they have half of the evidence. They say, how come, for example, the aircraft can fly from, instead of flying from Hong Kong, they go, if it is not flat Earth, they should go from this way to this way. But now they're going from here through Alaska and go to the other side to Washington. So it means it's flat. The Earth is actually flat. It's shorter to go that way. You know, those sort of evidence. They say they call it evidence, but it is half evidence actually. It's not true. Okay, so many of the things that they mentioned, you have to. Similarly, I would say the anti-vaxxers and so on. Yeah. For example, you take anti-vaccine, just to give an example. One of the things that they say is, you know, 10%, oh sorry, not 10%, 1,000 people already having blood clot from the AstraZeneca vaccine. 1,000 people. They just mentioned the 1,000 people. They did not mention about the 50 million people already vaccinated using that vaccine. So from the 50 million, 1,000 is so many small percent, yeah, of the percentage, and they harp on that. That's what I call as half evidence. And scientists, we don't do that. We have our statistical method. We see whether it is statistically significant or not. Okay, and which one is we weigh the benefit. There's so many benefit. It's already proven benefit from the 50 million jabs. Okay, compared to the 1,000 also problems. Yeah, of course it will happen. Anything will happen. But always we talk about statistics, whether it is significant or not. So we do all the tests, the significance statistic tests and so on to check. Okay, so that's a good example. Yeah, trying to put conspiracy theories and so on. The problem is because they use pseudoscience. They call it pseudoscience, half truth. They don't really take the whole thing about science as a whole. Zika, you have some views?
For like unscientific method, is like rationalistic method, meaning that it derived by a reasoning that can be flawed by simple premises. Like for example, we know that if let's say we have like a migraine attack, right? So we are, we know that, oh, we have to take the painkiller, then the migraine will be like bearable for us. But then it will just be like for like a couple of time, like a specific time. But then after that, we have the migraine start again, and then we have to take back again the painkiller. So it's like they use the rationalistic method.
What do you mean by rationalistic method? Because if you see, you read the definition just now, scientific method are rational.
This one is not like they just take like example, like for example, like I take another example is like we know that basketball player, they have to be tall. So when they know about one name of basketball player, they will like just directly say, oh, he must be tall, because to be a basketball player, you have to be tall, like that.
Okay. Right. So all right. So that is one example. Yeah. So basically, this is an example of stereotyping. Stereotyping. Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, when we say that, okay, all you can talk about one race or one group of people. You say, oh, they are always like that. They are always like that. That's not scientific, you know. You cannot put everything like that. In the US, normally they say all niggers or negro or people from African descent. These people are always bad. They are always troublemaker. They are always So that's stereotyping. They just say that because they are from that group, they are like that. Okay, so that's an example. I think it's a good example. Okay, Amin Ali, want to say something?
Yes, about the unscientific research. One more example would be anecdotal evidence.
Yep.
So like,
for
example, can relate to your vaccine issue. Somebody might be like, one of my friends got the vaccine and then she got sick or something like that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, anecdotal evidence. All right. Oh, you are opening a big can of worms here, because some people are selling a lot of money because of anecdotal evidence. Yeah, selling health products and supplements and medicines and so on. Yes, Chinket.
Like a model that not validate by experiment.
Like for example?
Like our process, modeling a process, and then not proven by experiment works.
Yeah, okay. Right. So okay. So that's the thing when we say that the evidence must be credible. So one of the credible aspect is in terms of validation. Later we'll talk about that as well. Validation, validity, and reliability of your data and your results. If you have not validated, you have not calibrated, for example, your tools, your equipment, and you do your experiment and so on, and basically your result is not credible, and that's not scientific. Scientific means you must have credible data. So the data must be credible. Okay, and of course, if you have made a computer modeling, this one I was talking about my student. He did good computer modeling of the South China Sea and so on, trying to see how the movement of water for tides, tidal rise and fall. But we asked him, how sure are you that what your computer model is giving is exactly true reflection of the happening on the ground? Okay, so the only way of doing that would be to validate that. So you need to find in situ measurement, or you go and do measurement, and finally you check whether your computer model will give the same measurement or not. So always do validation or of your computer models and so on. At master's level, some of you are doing masters. At master's level, you are allowed to do validation using other people's experiment. Okay, that means that if you make use any computer model, either your own computer model or you use the commercial softwares and so on, you use MATLAB or you use say Flow 3D or you use ANSYS to run your program, and then you get the results. At master's level, you can do the checking whether your model is correct or not by using other people's published work, credible scholarly work. Okay, so that one you can use. So you go to good journal paper, find out about how they have done their work, and they give you the model and the results. So you do that same model and you get the same results, then your model is calibrated and validated. But for PhD work, some of you here are doing PhD. PhD, you need to do your own experiment. You cannot validate using other people's work. So part of your work at PhD level must be to carry out experiment to check if you are doing computer modeling, to check that your model is correct. So you cannot depend on other people's credible, although credible scholarly work from other people, still you cannot use for your PhD work. Okay, so that is basically about evidence, about validation and so on. We are going to talk about that as well later, validity and so on. Okay, thank you, Chinkiat. Who else want to say anything about this? Ola, yes, Ola.
Yes, bro. For example, my example that not scientific. When I look or talk about my project, the aerodynamic, and I say this is unstable, I think that not scientific because I am not reply to the source. But when I use previous theories and reliable analysis equation with the source and reply on the source, I think that's scientific.
I don't really catch what you mean. Can you repeat that somehow? Explain a bit in
When
detail.
Yes, that not just opinion or not just normal discuss, but when I use reply on the source, that is scientific method.
So reply on
source.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that when reply on the source or reference, I think that is scientific methods.
What do you mean by reply on source?
such as a reference. When I come back to the reference, yes.
So you depend on your thing. Yeah, as I say, if you get your evidence by looking at the various articles that have been written before and so on, yeah, of course, that's scientific. You have to work on other people's. You must start from other people's work and you work upwards. Yeah. Later we're also going to talk about that. Okay, thank you. Just now somebody mentioned about the personal, there's single anecdotes. Like my friend found that it's okay, it's good, and so on. So the worst thing is what I said when I say people selling medicine and nutrient or nutriment, what is that? Nutrition supplement, herbal medicine, you know, Tongkat Ali or whatever. And normally they use what? What you call that? Testimony. Right? So are these testimonies scientific? Testimony, using testimony to support this thing is good. I have hundreds of testimonies, you see. So is that good data for us to depend upon, saying that, oh, that's good. So from there we can conclude, from this 100 testimony, we can conclude that this product is good for your health. Can we say that that's good? Well, it is part of research. Yeah? It says that they say that that's basically research. We don't have data. Data, which is my collection of testimony, shows that, you know, you see, read here, 100 people actually said that this product is good. This Tongkat Ali is good. So is that good enough? I mean,
no.
I think, Prof, it is not good enough for us to make a basis.
Why?
Because it should be proven clinically. Let's say we take a sampling about 100 people or thousands of people based on the trace, and then we try to test them in a clinical way, like what have been doing in for the vaccine for COVID-19. So, Prof, actually, I have a question for you. Because before this, you mentioned a few times about credible result. So, what do you think about there will be research which focusing on the qualitative and also quantitative. So now for the qualitative research to be taken as the basis for research.
Yeah, okay. Later I'll answer about that qualitative one. So I keep that in mind. I'm still trying to look into this using testimony first. Okay. Anybody have some ideas on the using testimony as a support, saying that I've got strong evidence saying that my product is good because I have 100 or 1,000 testimony. 1,000 testimony. You can read here. I put everything inside this file. You can flip them through and look. 1,000 people say that this product is good. So yep.
So the problem with testimony is that usually the person who presents it can pick and choose different testimonies to better reflect what they want to convey.
Yeah.
And also it's very easy to fake the testimony as well.
Okay.
And we don't know how qualified the person who provides us a testimony is as well.
Okay, so that's what I mean by being not scientific, because scientific must be objective, it must be balanced, it must be without bias. Okay, it must be done properly without bias. No external consideration. It must be done properly. Yeah. So if you were to do testimony can be done if you want to use it. Yeah, but it must not be biased. So for example, this product that say it has 1,000 testimony, you need to ask them how many people have used this product. If they see 1,000 people use and 1,000 people give good testimony, oh well, that could be a good indication that the product is good. But the problem is normally these people who sell the products, they normally have 20,000 people use or 50,000 people already bought the product. So only 1,000 wrote back saying, oh yeah, it's good, and so on. So 1,000 out of 20,000 or even 100,000, what's that? From scientific point of view, that's not even significant. From statistical point of view, it's out. You cannot consider that as the thing. So or like what I mean said just now, you people may choose, pick and choose, right? So I have maybe I sold 20,000. There are maybe 10,000 give feedbacks, but 1,000 only say good. So I keep that 1,000 inside this file. They say the people that say lousy product and so on, I put in another file or I throw inside the dustbin. So when I come to new customer, I'll just show the 1,000. You know, so this is the thing that make unscientific. So although we say that this is something that, okay, this is about our daily life, or people studying and so on, when you go to your actual research later, you also cannot pick and choose. When you got your results, you do your experiment, you got your results, you found that your result is not like what you expect. Okay, so you get, for example, you get data and finally, hey, this data is not like this, it's supposed to go up. How come they're not going up? And now you want to check out this bad result, the so-called bad results. That's not the way we do. That's not the way. That's not scientific. Scientific means you present data as they are and make conclusion as they are. All right. So that's something very important for us to bear in mind. When we say scientific, it means we have to be objective. We have to be not biased. We have to be based on evidence. The evidence must be credible. You know. So that's what we mean by scientific research. If not, then our research is not scientific, and it is lousy work, and it will be open for questions when we put inside our thesis or when we write in papers and so on. Because sometimes you see in the papers, there are many articles later in the 10th or 11th lecture we are going to talk about journals. Then you see that many journal articles are being retracted, being pulled out from journals because people found problem with those results that they are presenting. Yeah, so sometimes because of plagiarism or something like that, but sometimes because the result is lousy. I found in papers that I read that give them, I'm sure they made a mistake by not dividing by 10. Yeah, I know, because that thing cannot be in the hundreds. It can only be in the 40s. The value should be between 0 to 40, and they have the value between 0 and 400. I think they have done mistake, and that's published in the literature. I should have written to the editor saying that I spotted this wrong. So that's the thing, because they have not really checked it properly and so on. Yes, we do.
Hi, Prof. So basically, because we are mentioning about the scientific method, and basically, let's say during the experimental, probably we have some outlier on our experimentals. So by this mean, it means that we have to redo again those methods, right? And then until we get the to determine the outlier. What is the real problem for that?
Yeah, the outliers are okay. We have to deal with them properly. If it is outliers, there are certain what we call it, criteria for rejecting outliers. For example, you have most of the data here, you have 2 points up there. Then most probably these things are really outliers. It is fake, and you can find using standard deviation, 2 times standard deviation or something. You can find that this is actually completely out, these 2 points. Okay, but the best thing is if you repeat those 2 points. Okay, if you have two points which out of range compared to the rest, then you need to repeat. Okay, so if you can repeat, otherwise you can remove them because they are already, most of the points are all here. Suddenly we have 1 or 2 out there. Okay, so you can, there are some methods that we can use to do that. What I mean just now when we say when we got the results that you unexpected, is sometimes you expect the curve to go up and down, but you find that the curve is not going down. Okay, so you must do two things there. Either number one, you check your experiment or your how you get the curve. Yeah, you check your data, make sure that the data is correct and 100%. Maybe it's equipment error, maybe whatever it is. But if finally you see that really the curve is going down, whereas you expect from your so-called theory it goes up, then you need to find out why, and that's your MPhil or Masters or PhD. You are able to explain freak results which is not in the normal theoretical thing. So because maybe if you go to the basic, you found that that original curve that people say goes up is not actually true, because at certain speed, for example, or at certain Renault number or something, it's supposed to go, people say it goes up, but in this case, because of certain thing, it should go down, and you found that it's really going down. Okay, so these are the things that you need to really investigate and discuss in your discussion. The freak results, the results that you do not expect. Okay, because those could be the true one actually, because the theoretical the equation before this that people have developed may not take into consideration your new things that you have added, for example. Okay. Any more questions or discussion on this this part? Scientific method. I think we covered all that I want to cover actually on scientific method. We know what scientific method is all about. Okay, we know that it is a very important characteristic of research is to have scientific method. Okay, and your method must be scientific from beginning until the end, until you publish the paper. Everything should be scientific. You always ask for evidence. You always ask for credible evidence. You validate things. You make sure that this is reliable. All the results are all reliable. That's scientific. Okay, we cannot accept just everything just as it is. Others, the other things like non-scientific will be not only myth, but sometimes people say it's like, as I said just now, for example, what you do certain things because you follow somebody, okay, or because he's a big professor, then I follow him. He's a big, he's my supervisor. I say I follow my supervisor. My supervisor says like this, I'm going to do like this. No, that's not scientific. So you'll never be independent like that. Yeah. So whenever you should challenge even your supervisor work. If you find that your supervisor's work is not correct, you may want to correct it. Not certainly you follow 100% whatever your supervisor says. So you need to argue out. And I don't know, in my class, I really ask, not my class, my supervision, I normally ask the students to talk more about their work and even challenge whatever that I found so far and so on. So you should be independent. You should finally become independent and become at par with the supervisor in terms of the argument, how you argue out that particular aspect of the research and so on. Okay, so do not accept things just like that. Now, of course, other scientific things will be things like, okay, bias, I've mentioned, sometimes about emotion. Okay, you love someone so much that you just accept whatever that he says or she says. Okay, so that's an emotion. So emotion is not scientific. You cannot do things based on emotion. That's not scientific. Yeah. And of course, somebody mentioned about myth, legend. Sometimes I say to my students, why you decide like this? Why you use this method, or why you do like this on? And if you cannot explain, I said, an old man came in your dream and told you to do this way, right? So that's wahyu. Okay, wahyu, revelation. So revelation in our research, we cannot depend on revelation. We cannot say that an old man came in my dream and told me to do like this, to use this figure, to use this factor, to use this method, to use this equipment. No, you must have your own argument for each of the thing that you want to do. Okay, so we go to our last part of our class. We are okay. I want to start by about 4:15 or so. So I go to the last class, which is our This one. The title of this is scientific method. Of course, you have gone through. You know about what this thing is all about. So I'm going very quickly. I just go through the example very. So these slides are actually for primary school students.
Sorry, Prof. Did you present anything?
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Good, good, good. Good for you to remind me. I thought I already presented. Okay, good. Okay, what I'm going to present you will be as primary school children slides for their student project. Okay. So people ask, why are you showing a primary school student to PhD student? Oh, you are degrading them. Huh? So I'm degrading you by showing this. No, that's not what I mean. What I'm going to show here is that because scientific method is applicable to all situations, doesn't matter research at NASA level or at kindergarten level, still these steps must be followed. So you are doing PhD, you are doing bachelor, you are doing masters, your master by course, my MPhil, or you are doing a school project, still these are the scientific method that we follow. Okay. Some of you mentioned some of the things that I've read just now are already here in these slides. So it's good. Okay, so these are used to investigate natural occurrence. Okay. So these are the 7 parts, which I think I don't agree this word research here. Research here may be study or something like that, background study. So you start with the problem or question. Okay, you study a little bit and you formulate a hypothesis. And then you do the experiment, collect, analyze data, conclusion, and communicate the results. Okay, so that's the scientific method. So we go one by one, explain it a bit. Develop question problem that can be solved through experimentation. So, and then observation or research. I say that's why research. The word research here is used in the colloquial or the daily use, not the research that we talk about here, because the whole thing is research. This whole process is a research process, but here this research here will be just to do the background study of the topic of interest. Okay, next will be formulate the hypothesis, predict a possible answer. Hypothesis predict a possible answer, but as I said, and in our definition also, we do not have hypothesis there because hypothesis is not necessary for every research. Okay, the problem, yes, but hypothesis is not necessary. But in this case, the example here has hypothesis. For example, if soil temperature rise, then plant growth will increase. And then do the experiment. Okay, the outcome must be measurable. Collect, analyze results. Compare the result by retesting. Table graph, photograph, and make conclusions, recommendations. And finally, what's the last point? Number 7. You communicate the results. So remember that your research starts with the problem or question and ends with communication. So same thing at PhD research or master's research or bachelor research or even research at NASA and so on. You start with the problem, okay, and then you do the things and finally you need to communicate result. And your research is never complete until you have communicated the results. So communication result for PhD, for masters, by course of MPhil will be at least you must write your thesis. Until and unless you complete step number 7, then you have not completed your research, okay, in the scientific method. So you can remember the 7? Okay, problem, question, and then observation or background study, and then formulate the hypothesis and do the experiment. And basically you do collect data there and you make the conclusion and finally you communicate the results. Okay. Now let's see now. We see an example of John. Okay, as I said, these slides are for primary school children. So we see that John is the hero here. Okay, and you are going to see that I'm going to mention John even later until lecture number 10 also. I'll still ask you, do you remember John? Yeah, because I want to show the relevance of John's work to your work. So by then, by lecture 10, we are not going to talk about grandmother baking bread anymore, but we're going to talk about your research. But by then, as I still say, do you remember why don't you follow John? John did this and that in his bread making, but you did not do this one. Okay, so you remember John. Remember him very well, yeah? Okay, now the story here is that John watches his grandmother bake bread. He asks his grandmother what makes the bread rise. She explained that yeast releases a gas as it feeds on sugar. So John feels that he's curious. He feels that, so sugar is the material that actually can help yeast to release the gas. And the more gas you release, the bigger the bread size will be, right? So John wonders if the amount of sugar used in the recipe will affect the size of bread or the bread loaf. So it's a good question, right? It says that, yeah, if sugar is really what the yeast feed on, then maybe you try to increase the amount of sugar and the size will increase. Okay, here the word affect here, because this is primary school thing. So here explain a little bit about effect and affect. Even at our level, maybe we still confused about this. So effect means the effect of something. That's a noun. Yeah, and affect is a verb. So the effect of sugar amounts on the rising of bread. And how does sugar affect the rising of the bread? Okay, it's okay. So he did the background study. So a little bit about fermentation and so on. Okay. Okay, I just go on. So this is his hypothesis. If more sugar is added, then bread will rise higher. That is his hypothesis. So he's going to test this hypothesis. Correct or not? And you're going to say whether he has found his hypothesis right or wrong. So hypothesis is educated guess about relationship between independent and dependent variables. So there are two word here. One is independent. One is independent. One is dependent. One is independent. So here, what are the variables? Sugar amount, right? And the other one is size of bread. Okay. Okay. So which one is dependent, which one is independent? Just say out. Anybody wants to say? Switch on microphone and say which one is. Okay, which one is dependent? Anybody?
Size of the bread.
Dependent is
size of the bread.
Yes. Size of the bread. Independent is the amount of sugar.
Yes.
Okay. So we must remember this. Dependent is something that is depending on the other variable. So in this case, sugar does not depend on size of bread, but the size of bread depends on sugar. So the dependent is size of bread. And the independent one is what you decide. You vary to vary. So that's the sugar amount of sugar. Okay, if you were to plot this in the XY axis plot, which one will go into the x-axis, which one go to the y-axis?
Sugar.
Okay.
X will be the sugar.
X is dependent. X is
Will be
dependent.
X will be
the sugar.
Okay. X will be the amount of sugar. The independent will be the size of the bread. Okay, so the size of the bread will be dependent. So you're going to have some curve like that. Okay, so you vary the amount of sugar and you put the size of bread there, the results. Yeah? Okay. Now we can go on. Okay, this is a definition of that. The independent variable is the methodology is the factor that intentionally varied by the experimenter. Okay, in this case, John is going to use 25, 50, 100, 250, 100 gram sugar in his experiment. So this is the independent variable. And dependent variable is the one that is responding to the changes in the sugar, to the size of the loaf of bread. So he did his experiment, and this is okay. So during his experiment, we need to do control. Okay, the control will be no treatment, is just like the one that is the standard one. So which is the original grandma's. Make sure that it's a grandma has used 50 gram as the amount of sugar. So that is the control one. Okay, no additional. Okay, so this is the control group. So all experiments should have a control group. Just like for the vaccine, maybe you have heard about vaccine testing during the testing stage. During the testing stage, they use a placebo as the control group. Yeah. So in fact, yesterday in the group A, there was one student who was involved as a guinea pig, as a test, a person who underwent the testing, part of the experimental testing exercise, volunteer. So she was explaining about her experience. And so for the control group, basically you don't change anything. Yeah. So because the grandmother used 50 gram, then John is going to use that amount is control group. Okay. Then we have the constants. So when we do experiment, we must make sure that we have constant. We keep constant when we change anything. For example, when you do, I always give this example very simple because most of you can relate it. If I give another example, I give an example of diesel engine. Okay, you want to improve the efficiency of diesel engine, so you put additive to the oil, to the diesel oil. Maybe you add water or you add vegetable oil to the diesel engine, and to see whether the additive has got improvement, will cause an improvement in the diesel engine performance. Okay, if you do that, you must make sure that everything else is constant. You only change the amount of the additive that you put. Okay, so the original diesel engine must be the same, the engine must be the same, the running temperature must be the same, everything must be the same. Then only you know that the results of that you get is actually the effect from the changing of the additive or the adding of the additives. So same thing here. When you add something like this, you basically want to change the sugar, then the other factors must be kept constant. Anybody want to shout what are the other things which are constant inside here?
Temperature.
What temperature at which the baking is done? Okay. What else?
The amount of the flour.
Amount of the flour. Okay.
Yes.
What else?
Time taken to bake.
Time taken. Okay. Not only the amount of flour. The flour should be not only the
ingredients.
So the ingredient must be the same.
Yes.
Okay, we do not want to use today for this experiment. I want to use Anchor brand. Okay, next experiment I'm going to use a different brand. Okay, it must be the same brand of flour, yeast, Yeah. Okay, what else? Temperature, even the oven, that you use, yeah?
Size
Yeah.
of beaker.
Size of beaker. Okay, the baking pan.
Yeah.
Baking pan, yeah, must be the same. If you put a different baking pan, maybe the baking pan is the one that's causing that problem, yeah? So, okay, good. So, some of the constants here, it is what is listed here. Okay. The recipe, oven use, rise time, brand of ingredient, cooking time, type of pan use, air temperature, humidity, whether bread rising up temperature, HOE, etc., etc. Yeah. So okay. So these are the results. I just go very quickly. Yes, this is the results. So if you see these results, I want to ask you, what should be John's conclusion, or what should he do, or what do you think? Is this not a good result? What this is the amount of sugar you see on the left here will be the amount of sugar 2550, the control group. This is grandma's recipe 59, and then 100, 150, 200, 500, and then the size in centimeter cube is measured 3 times. Okay, first trial 768, second trial 744, third trial 761, and he took average and he got 758 and so on. So this is actually the results, the final result, because this is the average of these 3 trials. So now, based on this, what do you think should be his conclusion, or what should he do? Anybody has any idea? Any comments? Is the hypothesis says that the more the amount of sugar, the bigger will be the size of the bread loaf. That was his guess. Now, what is he going to say?
The hypothesis is not correct or invalid.
Okay, hypothesis is rejected. Is that correct?
Yes, not accepted.
Yes.
Rejected, not accepted.
Yes, yes, yes.
Anybody has any other views? No? So the hypothesis is rejected. So what should he do now? Should he just, okay, pack everything up and say, Grandma, just continue to use 50 gram, you are good? What should he do?
Formulate another.
There should be an optimum.
Sorry?
There should be an optimal level of the.
There should be an optimum level.
Optimum level, yes.
Yes, where could that be?
That is 50 at this size, or as also ingredient, 50 gram of sugar is the optimum for this research. Yes.
So that's why I said, should he just say that, okay, Grandma, you are good, just use 50 gram, or should he do something else?
Formulate another hypothesis.
That is for this ingredient and everything, 50 gram is the optimum. But if you should increase the ingredients or other factors, then again, there are certain changes that may occur.
Yeah, okay, that's the overall view. Any other views?
For me, I just want to add up a bit. So John should find the reason why after 50 gram of sugar, the average size is reducing. So you should find the key points or the factors that affect the size of the average size. It's not depending on amount of sugar anymore. There should be other parameters or other things that will affect the size of the bread loaf. That's all.
Okay. Any other views? Okay, the result seems to be something like this. I'm just plotting very simple here. 1 point there, 758. At 50, it is 1260. Okay, I put cross there. At 100, it is 116. A bit lower. And at 250, it goes to 612, somewhere here. Okay, the last one is somewhere there. Very small. Okay, so that means your curve, most probably when there's zero sugar, there will be zero bread loaf. So, but he start from here. Okay. Something like that. So, if you see a curve like that, what happens? So the optimum here is not necessarily at this point, grand mass point. Okay, this grand mass point, 50 gram, and not 100, but maybe somewhere in between. So in this case, what should he do? He should redo the experiment for between 50 and 100. Okay? Okay, so which is, so John examiner noticed that his control worked the best in this experiment, but still not significantly better than 100 grams. Just 1116 and very little. So he rejects his hypothesis. The original hypothesis is rejected, but now he's got a new hypothesis that the optimum amount is between 50 gram and 100. Yeah, this point, between this point, somewhere here. Okay, so let's find out. So he carried out his experiment now, and 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. He got results already for 100. Okay, so he did again at 50, at 60, at 70, at 1332. Sorry, and 80 and so on. So now you can see that these points are now being seen through his experiment. So you have point there. So you have a point there at 60, at 70, at 80, at 90, at 100. So which one is the best? This one, yeah?
Between 60 and 80.
Okay, so at least on this point, it is here at 70. Of course, you want to try to do somewhere there, but this is already way very high compared to that, yeah. So that's what it is all about. So that means that when we do things scientifically, we do systematically, okay, systematically, and we redo things if we are not sure. So this part, I think, I want to stress this point. I want to stress this point about if you are going to involve doing experiment, or you are going to run computer program, for example. Okay, sometimes we have two variables like this. We do this one, and then we do this one. To get this, you may run experiment like John. Okay, you put one point here, the independent variable here, and you get the desetter, get independent, and then get desetter. So you get the plot. But you may also do this by running experiment. For example, you run CFD or even finite element analysis and so on. You put a certain number of parameter here, and you get value, you get value, you get value, you get value. So I want to remind you, okay, from the beginning, that if you are running experiment like this, or you run software like this, you use point like just now. For example, you use like John's points just now initially. And you get these results like this. Sorry. Okay, if you get results like this, all right, initially, you get this result like this, and we must make sure that when we do the experiment, during doing the experiment, you must plot this graph. Okay, what I mean is never plot graph after you run all the experiments, you pack up everything, and then you go home, then you only want to start to open the Excel software to plot your graph. So what I mean is, always plot your graph as soon as you get the first results. So when you got the first results, you plot. And now Excel very easy, yeah. So just to plot this one, very easy. Just plot that. Put okay, go next. You get the next result, you plot. Got the next result, you plot. So since John is doing his experiment at home, then there is no problem for him. Even towards the end, after he finished everything, he has not plotted. Now he only want to plot, or he doesn't plot, because he can repeat the experiment very easily. But you are going to do your experiment. Either you use the CFD experiment or FEA experiment or physical experiment. Okay, it is very costly, and you are not going to be allowed to go back normally, to go back to the lab again after you have left it, because there will be people queuing to use the lab. Okay, so that's why when you are doing your experiment, you must do the plotting, so that if you need to do like this one, additional point, you can do immediately during while you are in the first while you are in the lab. Okay, so yeah, that is my point. My main point here is that remember to plot your results while you are doing your experiment, not after you have packed up everything and then you want to go, you go off, and then finally you found, oh, I need to run another 2 points. I should have done it, but by that time maybe somebody has taken over the engine test rig, or the whatever test rig, or whatever. If you use some testing universal testing machine or whatever, somebody has already taken. They've used it. They are going to use now, and it will be too late for you to go back. Okay, so it is very important for you to remember that. Okay. Okay, so I think that is the end. That's what John found, and finally he communicated the all right.